Activist Amal Abdel Hadi says it's time Egypt's majority population, women, get equal rights.
No discrimination on any basis, not on gender issues, not on religious issues.
تتصدى في قوى الإسلام السياسي المشهد وهي قوة.
The main challenge in Egypt is similar to other Arab countries where political Islam now holds power. These forces don't allow for a genuine participation of women. There's also the added problem that the Islamists have a wide community outreach, particularly in poorer areas, making women's participation especially difficult.
In Tunisia, fundamentalists tried to include the concept of complementarity in their new constitution to legally define a woman's role in society. Activists, however, organized and defeated that measure. But in Egypt, women were blocked from the Constitutional Committee altogether in a power grab by Islamist parties.
The way that the country has been ruled so far did not really allow for strong participation or inclusion of women in decision-making. We thought that with a new democratic Egypt, this would be over.
And in Jordan and Morocco, countries that didn't experience regime change, women's rights activists have been seeking constitutional reforms for decades, only to face familiar resistance.
Many of our recommendations were taken into consideration, but in the last moment, they removed one word, which was essential for women's rights, which is equality between all citizens despite of their religious, language, or race or sex. They removed the word sex. And some of them, of course, they said, all citizens means all men and women in the country. But if it is the same, why you remove it? So it is really very worrying that the additional powers are still trying to play this superiority of men over women in the society.
But in Morocco, activists were able to counter long-held conservative religious arguments.
Nous avons pu nous fonder, nous baser, utiliser les lectures qui a été faites par d'éminents.
We were able to utilize and base our case on interpretations made by eminent Muslim scholars who have proven that you can live in Muslim countries while being modern countries and still have access to fundamental liberties and rights.
Their efforts resulted in reforms that not only guaranteed equality between men and women, but also stated that international law supersedes national law when it comes to these issues.
Le fait qu'on reconnaisse dans la Constitution l'égalité.
The clear recognition within the Constitution that men and women are equal, particularly in a civil code, which is where individual liberties are determined, that recognition was a tremendous step forward for us. There is a political will, but also mobilizing the women's movement is very important. We know how to work together, and we also know how to build alliances and create strategies to be able to have an impact on the street and also on the decision makers.
Achieving constitutional change was a huge success, but getting these rights implemented is still a challenge. And with Islamists winning recent elections, activists are certain to face more resistance.
With the rise of the PJD, the situation of women will become even worse. We want moderates, but these Islamists are not moderate. They all hold extremist views on women.
Donc c'est ça en fait ce qui est intéressant à observer actuellement au Maroc, c'est comment ils vont gérer ces contradictions.
What's so interesting to observe currently in Morocco is how they will manage these contradictions between a constitution that clearly defines values and their own values, which are closer to Islam, cultural specificity, the family, and so on. I think they have to evolve because otherwise they cannot manage these contradictions and these paradoxes. Morocco has progressed. We cannot go back 20 years. So they will also have to evolve.